Hi, welcome to our channel Good New. Foreign relations are a top priority for all governments in today's global globe. Everyone wants peace and love. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has been unsolved and continuing for months. This position has, I feel, generated a plethora of problems for Russia and Ukraine. Although the United States and the European Union, both of which are pro-Ukraine, would not use nuclear weapons to strike Russia, the US and the EU have discovered new ways to threaten Russia. This translates into penalties. In the financial business, this method is known as SWIFT. Russia was sanctioned by the West's harsh financial sanctions and began retaliating. While the specific impact of Russia's actions is unknown at this time, Western nations have put unprecedented sanctions on Russia as a resource-rich country, and the world economy, which had been steadily recovering from the pandemic, has begun to drop again. So, how will Russia react to Western-imposed economic sanctions? Is the Russian resistance effective? What are Russia's tactics for dealing with Western economic sanctions? According to a Russian satellite network report, the Russian government issued a list of unfriendly countries and regions that included the European Union, the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Switzerland, Japan, South Korea, and other countries that had previously imposed economic sanctions on Russia. Country and territory. The list is included in a decree issued on May 5 by Russian President Vladimir Putin titled On Provisional Procedures for the Implementation of Obligations to Certain Foreign Creditors, which allows Russian states, businesses, and individuals to pay foreign creditors on the list of unfriendly countries in rubles to avoid default in the event of capital controls, which apply to transfers of more than 10 million rubles per month. According to Wu Jinduo, bond market specialist and fixed income head analyst at Great Wall Securities, Russia's actions are a form of retribution for Western financial sanctions. According to the Wall Street Journal, permitting foreign investors to reclaim their rubles is a watershed moment for the Kremlin. The Kremlin has outlawed foreign currency transfers overseas in reaction to Western sanctions. Prior to Western sanctions, Russian rubles were freely convertible into dollars or euros for debtors in Russia to pay off overseas creditors, according to Wu Jinduo. Russia's foreign exchange reserves, however, have been frozen, Russian banks have been suspended from SWIFT, and the ruble can no longer be freely exchanged and paid for overseas. According to Wu Jinduo's study, Russia can pay foreign exchange assets in RMB or Singapore dollars and then convert them to US dollars to pay creditors. However, Russia chose not to do so, instead requiring payment in rubles. As a result, this may be interpreted as monetary revenge against the West. Paying foreign currency debt in rubles exposes Russia's foreign creditors to a large financial risk shock as well as very fluctuating exchange rate susceptibility. According to Bloomberg, Russia has around $33 billion in outstanding US dollar bonds. According to Wu Jinduo, Russia's foreign borrowers include individuals, businesses, and institutional investors. The value of the ruble fluctuates. When the ruble's value declines or cannot be exchanged, the ruble in their hands may turn into a pile of rubles. You say, waste paper. The good news is that they may recoup their losses should the ruble falls below its bottom. What are the ramifications of the West penalizing Russia? If a country's sovereign credit rating is reduced to junk bonds, the country's foreign currency debt burden would increase, virtually definitely leading to bankruptcy. In these circumstances, the country typically chooses to default on its debt. Furthermore, organizations or individuals would be in this situation since their foreign currency debt burden has grown rapidly, and in the case of insolvency, they would have no choice but to default. However, Russia's state-owned oil major, Rosneft, and Russia's state-owned energy behemoth, Gazprom, both have looming dollar bonds, with the former owning a $2 billion bond. According to Bloomberg, the latter had already paid the payment. According to Wu Jinduo, Russia has not intentionally defaulted in the current situation. This has a positive influence on the global financial market, but it remains to be seen if the situation will worsen in the future. What new strategy does Russia have for dealing with the West? To counteract the West, Russia permits domestic businesses to use foreign patents for free. In reaction to Western sanctions, Russia has taken a new approach. The Russian government modified the law's patent compensation requirements on the 7th local time, according to the Russian Gazette. If the patent holder is from a hostile country or region and his or her invention, utility model, or industrial design is used without permission, the compensation amount to be paid is the production and sale of goods, the completion of work, and 0% of the actual revenue for providing services, i.e., no compensation is required for unauthorized use of the patent. There is no more precise and clear content in public information at the present, making it difficult to estimate the field and time limit contained in the patent amendment, making an accurate assessment on its impact impossible. Unrestricted patent licensing, in my opinion, should be granted only in a few special cases, such as medication limitation during a plague pandemic. If Russia revises the patent more thoroughly, it might be regarded as retaliation for harsher Western sanctions. However, the particular issue should be evaluated based on more specific data. Another expert believes that allowing Russian firms to freely utilize foreign patents on a large scale might be considered as a countermeasure to the Western technical embargo against Russia. According to Zhang Hong, a researcher at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences Institute of Russian, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia, this news is Russia's reaction to the withdrawal of certain Western software companies from the market. He told the Global Times that if Russia adopts a short-term temporary countermeasure, the impact will be limited. However, if the scope of free patent licensing is sufficiently large, the impact will be significant. India has been chastised for forcing the licensing of particular pharmaceuticals for a variety of reasons, he noted. If Russia extends open patent licensing to pharmaceuticals, the ramifications will be far-reaching, and Russia will definitely tread carefully. In recent years, Russia, in my opinion, has also become the most sanctioned country. The United States, Canada, and the European Union have imposed the most sanctions on Russia. Sanctions against Russia, a major global economy and key resource exporter, are causing mayhem in the global financial industry. Commodities continue to rise. Oil, gas, and related metals have all achieved new highs in recent years, driving global inflation while putting the global economy at risk of recession. The global economy is becoming increasingly susceptible to stagflation or even recession. Despite the fact that I live in a peaceful China, I am opposed to sanctions. I wish the West would treat every country equally instead of utilizing unsuccessful methods against other countries on a daily basis. Thanks for watching in this video. You can add your ideas or suggestions below. Please keep following our channel and like our videos.